Oh, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to MG Baseball. And today I'm doing something that I love to do every year because I love to play fantasy sports. Either it's fantasy basketball, fantasy football. And today we're going to be talking about fantasy baseball as I'm going to be showcasing my 2025 fantasy baseball draft and take you guys with me. And I have the 10th overall pick. Yeah, so it's not the best place to be where you do have back-to-back picks, but you know what? It could be a lot worse. Now, this year, there have been so many injuries so far, so I know people have already drafted some of the starting pitchers that hit the IL. Like, if you did a draft before the Garrett Cole injury, that is brutal. We know Grayson Rodriguez is going to be out for a while. George Kirby could be out for a little bit. Some of these guys you don't really know, like is Brandon Woodruff, Sandy Alcantara, going to be on an innings restriction. I think that's going to be interesting to look at. And you're not going to get one of the guys at the top, which is kind of sad. Like, you're not going to get Shohei Ohtani, Bobby Witt Jr., Aaron Judge, Jose Ramirez, Kyle Tucker. I feel like that's like the tier one of guys. I would not mind Juan Soto. Not really sure why ESPN has him ranked so low. Like, I don't know. I feel like Juan Soto is maybe not going to have the best average. I guess it's also more so stolen bases. That's probably why, just because LA is going to steal so many more stolen bases than Juan Soto, but I still may get 40 home runs out of him. I'm getting that ESPN music. So you can see the roster spots here. It's tough because I always like to get top pitchers. I mean, like Shohei Ohtani goes early. I do like to not have the worst starting pitching in the world, and then like when does that run on relievers go? But there's just so many injuries to worry about. Like, I'm very high on Garrett Crochet this year. In fantasy, I think he's going to be incredible, just as long as, he doesn't get hurt, because that's the big thing with pitchers. I mean, guys are going to come up. Guys are going to come and go. Aaron Judge ended up going number 2. I don't know if I'm going to take Paul Skeens with one of my picks, but I also don't mind that. Snagging Paul Skeens, who is going to be an NL Cy Young favorite there at number 10 or 11. And then I can also land, I don't love Francisco Lindor. Like, Gunnar is already injured. His estimated return is going to be not too soon. Like, I think he is questionable for opening day, and that could still happen. I'm not sure if Ellie or Corbin falls to me at number 10, because I would love that as well. So I think those could be possibilities. I did see Jose Ramirez go number 3. All right, Bobby Witt, I think, should have a case to go number 2, and he ended up going number 4, which is kind of incredible. So I love Lindor, but he gets off to those slow starts every year, and he does struggle, at least with his average, more so in, like, April and maybe May at times, but he can be 30-30. And he's going to have Juan Soto hitting behind him, which may be even a little bit better. There goes Gunnar. Okay, so Gunnar ends up going. I would love Kyle Tucker. I think he's going to do so well in a walk year there in Chicago. Like Jackson Churio thinks a little bit high. I thought about Vladdy, but you're really punting on stolen bases right there. Jordan, I think Jordan and Vladdy is a good debate. Who you like? I think this could be a good year for Fernando if he can stay healthy. That's just the big thing with Tatis because he was so good a few years ago. Kyle Tucker goes, Corbin goes, Ellie goes, and we were on the clock. Juan Soto went as well. Mookie's so reliable every year. He's playing shortstop, though, which can give you a little bit more of an edge with your eligibility. I think I'm going to talk myself into Mookie because he's just so consistent, and the average is going to be there. He's going to steal a little bit. He's going to hit some homers. As long as he can stay healthy, that is very valuable at the shortstop position. So I could double up. Julio, I worry about the consistency. I think I'm going to go Paul Skeens here. Or Tariq Skubal. I feel like Tariq Skubal's a dog. I feel like I can get more innings out of him. I never know. And wins are going to matter. And Detroit will be better than Pittsburgh. So you know what? A little bit of a shocker. You can let me know who you would have taken. Skeens or Tariq Skubal there at number 11. I don't know. Like, getting Jordan would be great. Getting Lindor is interesting. I probably would have went Jordan or Vladdy there. As after me, it went Fernando, Tatis, or Julio. I could have went Fernando just because he may steal some bags, but I'm happy getting like Tariq Skubal, who could definitely win AL Cy Young again, and he's going to be one of the best pitchers. I think he has a better chance at hitting 200 innings than somebody like a Paul Skeens. But you really can't go wrong with either one of them. So I think looking back here, so now I don't pick for a while. I'm up in 15 picks. I think we could potentially... Manny Machado, I would love Ketel Marte. If I can get Ketel Marte, no way he's on the board. No shot. Okay, I think that's a little bit wishful thinking. I talked about how much I love Garrett Crochet in my season prediction video. I predicted him to win AL Cy Young. If I can get Crochet and Skubal, I'm okay with that. I am sacrificing the bats a little bit, but it can be deep. And I think pitchers, I don't know, people are going to go bat heavy early on. So I think I have a good chance to get some of these elite pitchers and kind of zag while everybody zigs. Cole Reagans, I love as well. He got kind of lit up in spring training the other night against Colorado, but I think he's going to be fantastic this year. I think the Boston offense is going to be great, but yeah, I'm not getting Jarren Duran to fall to me where I am. So I think I'm looking at Garrett Crochet. I like Crochet over Cease. Burns, I'll have a talk with myself. Both those guys are in new situations. Corey Seager, if he could stay healthy, could be kind of a steal at that value. Oh, there goes Crochet. Never mind. He just went. Zach Oil went. Dylan Cease went as well. Run on some of the guys I like as Trey Turner goes, Jaron Duran goes. Jazz Chisholm just went. Jazz is ranked really high in fantasy. Like, I don't see the appeal of taking Jazz over Jackson Churio or Jackson Merrill. Like, I know Jazz can steal some bases, and he was good when he got traded over to the Yankees last year. I mean, you get third base eligibility. I don't love that. Okay, can Ketel Marte fall to me? Because I think that could be also a steal of a draft. I think Ketel Marte, I mean, he could have finished second in NL MVP last year if he didn't get hurt later in the year. And that ended up going to Lindor. There goes Matt Olson. I know, because I got to worry about home runs in that category either. And I'm not going to get like 30 jacks out of Mookie Betts. I mean, I could get 30 jacks out of Ketel Marte. So there goes Jackson Churio. I think that's a steal. Round 3, pick 6. That's incredible value for him. So we're on the clock in 3 picks. I mean, I would love Jackson Merrill. I don't know if I'm going to snag a pitcher. I could. Like, I could snag Corbin Burns, and I can have Skubal and Corbin Burns. Just kind of electric. William Contreras, I think that's a little high for a catcher. There goes Freddie Freeman. And there went Austin Riley and Jackson Merrill. So I'm snagging Ketel Marte with one of these picks, and we're going to have Marte and Betts. A couple of NL West guys. Definitely going to be tuning into them here on the East Coast. They obviously play later at night. So we're going to take Ketel Marte as my second baseman. Honestly, I think I might sacrifice pitcher a little bit just because I went Skubal in the first round. I either like Machado or Devers. Devers is still third base eligible, which I don't know if he's going to end up more at first base or DH this year. But while he's third base eligible, I do kind of like that. And I'm going to get some power out of him. So yeah, not stolen base king, but I get Marte, Devers, and Betts. I mean, like, that's an elite infield. I guess I'm rounding on my infield there. And outfield can be very deep at times. So we're not going to be on the clock for a while, 15 more picks. I think I'd like to snag a starter. It might get a little bit thin now that I didn't take one with my first 4-round picks. I don't think we're going to really touch relievers. I don't think any have gone yet, but I just don't think, like, Andres Munoz being the top. No. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, is he number 1? I would be like, yeah, where's Class A? I mean, you could look at Class A. Oh, man, he was incredible last year. So, I don't know. We'll see who's on the clock. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of players off the board. So, when there's like 7 or so picks, I'll see who I'm eyeing with my 5th and 6th rounders. All right, so we're on the clock here in 7 picks. A lot of the Texas Rangers have gone. Emmanuel Clase went, so I do wonder if there's going to be a run on relievers. They're always tough every year. Like, I like to get like one good one, and then guys are going to come up. Injuries are going to happen. Like, I wonder about like Felix Bautista this year. Are the Orioles going to be as good? How is he going to look coming off the major injury from last year? Edwin Diaz, a year removed from the ACL injury, could be an intriguing piece. I love Brent Rooker, but he would be, I think, outfield. I forget if it's going to be outfield or utility. I don't know. I think I would like to target stolen bases and CJ Abrams. Worry about the batting average. I mean, I would love to get Jose Altuve with my next pick. I don't think he's going to be there. I mean, Brennan Doyle. I'm kind of reaching on that just because I don't have the guy, like, my stolen bases I don't love right now. And I mean, that's something I can look at later if I do want to snag like a Picro Armstrong or Bryce Terang or somebody like that. Like, it's a little bit high to snag one of these guys right now. So CJ Abrams on the clock or on the board. Teoscar Hernandez, Devin Williams. Do I want to snag a closer? Adley Rutschman. I don't mind because catcher can get so thin too. Like, it's really not a deep position, and none of these guys are going to be there. Like, I love Gabby Moreno this year, Austin Wells. I could snag one of them, but I think I'm going to talk myself into getting Adley Rutschman with this pick. He's not really going to steal bags. No catchers really will, outside of like prime JT Realmuto, but I get Rutschman there, and I'm going to go with a starter. I mean, Nola's going to give me innings, maybe not strikeouts. So many times he can like fumble a quality start. I would take George Kirby here, but I just worry about how long he's going to be out for. So I just know like they're always reliable between Nola and Logan Webb. I mean, this could be a full breakout year for Bryce Miller. I think I'm going to go with Logan Webb here. That could come back and bite me. Like, DeGrom could have value, but I worry about the innings limit and how is he going to look coming off Tommy John surgery. So, yeah, we got 4 bats. We got 2 pitchers. I do expect some relievers to be gone when I'm up in 15 picks. I might try to snag my first one because I don't want to end up with, like, Lucas Urseg, who's splitting, or it's a closer committee with him and Carlos Estevez. I mean, Trevor McGill throws nasty stuff, or could I get Ryan Walker? Those are possibilities. Ryan Helsley had a ton of saves last year, even with the Cardinals really not being great, but they were in those close situations. So we'll see who's available. I'm glad I got catcher out of the way with Adley. I would love to get Marcus Semien, but I also got to touch the outfielders. Like, there goes Devin Williams. There goes Bryce Miller. Aaron Nola just went. Yeah, like, looking at my outfield, it's kind of gross. I would love to snag a James Wood or Lawrence Butler. Dylan Cruz is going to steal some bases. So I think I do have some options for me in about 11 picks. All right, so we are back up in 6 picks. Man, Santander does some value with some pop. We did see Edwin Diaz go. Brennan Doyle went. I don't know. Brennan Doyle like broke out last year. He's an incredible center fielder, incredible defender. I just don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Dylan Cruz is there, but I would love to snag James Wood. I'm up in 5 picks. There's a possibility he's there. Like if I could snag James Wood in one of these like 3 closers, I mean, Mason Miller, I just worry, like, he throws heat. I know we got injured 2 years ago when he was a starter and he came up as a prospect. Damn, Junior Caminario just went. He's going, I think, too low in some fantasy drafts. And if it's a keeper draft, he'd be going a lot higher. So, I mean, Shota was great in the first half last year, struggled a little bit in the second. Pablo Lopez really struggled to start off last year's season. I think there's still value in Marcus Semien because he's going to play all the time. So there went Santander. I think I'm going to look at an outfielder, and I just worry about Yelich. I mean, he was great last year, but he's had his injury concerns. Brian Reynolds, like, maybe doesn't wow you throughout the year, but if you look at his numbers every year, it's always like around a 270, 280 average. He's going to get 20 homers. The defense is a different story, but there are some good outfielders on the board. Mike Trout, I mean, I'd love for Mike Trout to stay healthy, but he never does. Cruz is going to steal some bags, but I think James Wood could be incredible this year. I mean, maybe I just snag Reynolds and Woods, and then I'm just punting pitching a little bit. Reynolds is so consistent. I like the upside of James Wood. I do. Do I want to take a closer here? I think I may. I don't know. There's like still some guys I wouldn't mind later on. All right, maybe I'm going to pass up on closer. Max Fried. Schwellenbach. I don't know if these guys are going to be there. All right, I actually think I'm going to double up an outfield. And I'm going to take... I think I'm going to go Brian Reynolds and James Wood. Kind of a safe option. Kind of an upside option that's got a high ceiling, maybe a lower floor. And then I'm definitely going reliever closer. Or excuse me, reliever / closer and a starter with my next picks when I'm up in about 16. And there's been some pitchers that have gone, like Yoshinobu Yamamoto's gone, Tyler Glasnow, always worry about the health of him. Yanier Diaz went, Josh Naylor. Like looking at the catchers, I mean, there's still some good catchers that I could have taken if I didn't take Adley that high, but I know Adley was somewhat disappointing last year. I think he's going to have a bounce back year this season. I'm just really intrigued on how the Orioles offense is going to look. I know their pitching has, oh man, it has a lot of downside with Grayson Rodriguez already being hurt, and it's Zach Eflin as your opening day starter. But the offense, I mean, we'll see how early Kobe Mayo is up. Colin Cowser had a great rookie year. They signed Tyler O'Neill. They lose Santander. Can Jackson Holliday be a breakout player this year? Man, there's some pitchers I love. Like, I'm so high on Hunter Brown this year. So high on Spencer Schwellenbach. I think Freddie Peralta and Kevin Gausman can have bounce back years, I think, relative to their expectations last year. As Peralta, people thought could have been an NL Cy Young. Also, McClanahan, like, can be fine this year, but I worry about the innings limit if there is going to be one. There's still some value, like, later on here with some starting pitchers. I mean, looking at the relievers, I'm glad I didn't take Helsley. Like, I don't think he's there in 5 picks, but I'm glad I didn't draft him last. I love Willie Adames. I mean, I still have my utility and some bench spots. Matt Chapman's great. I mean, I got to target a first baseman, too. Casas Berger. I mean, I like Vinny P. I wonder if Vinny P would be up, not at this turn for me, but the next one. I mean, I could take a flyer on Michael Busch or Nate Lowe in Washington. I think Michael Busch was good last year. Luis Arias, I'm sacrificing home runs, but he'll kill it in average, can play multiple positions. Fried went, Westbrook went, Simeon went, Wilson Contreras, Cal Raleigh, Cody Bellinger. Ryan Helsley is finally off the board. I think I'll look at Iglesias. I might go Munoz over Bautista just because, I mean, I think Munoz is going to be electric this year. I still think Seattle's going to be in a ton of close game situations. There goes Spencer Strider and Rafael Iglesias. So that's going to make, I think, my pick here for my closer. It's going to be Munoz. Like, the starters are going to keep him in it. I still think that offense is lackluster. Bailey Ober just went. So I'm going to go Andres Munoz. I love Schwellenbach. I mean, Steele, Brown, McGowan. You really can't go wrong with any of those guys, but I don't know if they'll be available when I'm up next. So I'm going to take Andres Munoz there as one of my closers. And then one of my starters, I think it's between Schwellenbach, Peralta. I mean, Sasaki's interesting, but Hunter Brown, I think is going to be so good this year, but I just don't think I could stomach taking him over some of these other guys. And I think I'm going to take, I mean, I could go another Gallen's there. I think Gallen could bounce back to being a top pitcher. So Gallen last year, I think, was disappointing based off his 2023 campaign, but it was still a great pitcher. I just think maybe are people too high on Schwellenbach? Like, would I take Schwellenbach over him? Roki Sasaki can be great this year, but if it's not like a keeper / dynasty, I don't know if it's worth it. Luis Castillo is great, but I didn't want to double up on Mariners pitchers, but why does that matter? I just don't think they're going to get that many wins. I mean, they will, mean, the Mariners are going to be good. I could have went Castillo, Peralta, Steele, Brown. I couldn't really go wrong about any of those guys. I think they're all going to be great this year if they could stay healthy. All right, so I'm up again here in 5 picks, and I've thrown myself in the bottom right of your guys' screen now. Dylan Cruz is still there. I mean, I liked Dylan Cruz a while ago, and I do need stolen bases. I mean, if Dylan Cruz is there, I'm all over it. I think Seiya Suzuki, I mean, he's not been around as long as Brian Reynolds, but I think it's kind of similar where maybe he's not the most flashiest player. Maybe he's not going to be top of rankings every single year or throughout the season. But man, he just hits. He just hits, and he's pretty consistent. I don't know if ESPN could show you most of his stats as, yeah, like 262 average as a rookie, 285, 283, around an 800 OPS. Like, I'll take that. I'll take that consistency. So I could go Seiya, but I think I prefer to go Dylan Cruz just because of the stolen base upside, and that's something I need now. I would be doubling up on outfielders for Washington. It's not even going to happen, though, because he just went. Same with Ezekiel Tovar and Will Smith. So yeah, some of these pitchers are still here. I can kind of redeem myself, and I'm going to take Luis Castillo here, get another pitcher. I like my pitching. Skubal, Webb, Munoz, Gallen, and Castillo. Now, I don't need to go in outfield here, so if I looked at all the batters, Royce Lewis already got hurt, so I'm staying away from Royce. I think I may go Seiya Suzuki. He's just a consistent guy. I mean, Luis Robert may have a little bit more upside, and I do need a first baseman still. But I don't know how, like, is he going to get traded this year? I think Suzuki's a little bit more consistent. So I have James Wood, Brian Reynolds, and Seiya Suzuki. I do need to get a first baseman, like I said. I mean, Michael Toglia, like Toglia in Colorado, I think is going to hit for some power this year, like he did last year, like a sneaky 20 home run guy. But there's still so many guys down here I don't mind. I mean, it sucks through my starting first baseman, but I really like my team's depth at the moment. I think we could try to get another good closer because, yeah, like once we get into like Cade Smith, who's a setup guy, Lucas Erceg, closer by committee. I don't love it. Ryan Presley, I think, is consistent. I think I'm going to try to snag my second closer. I really wanted Ryan Walker, but he's off the board. All right, so we are up in 5 picks. Like I said, I want to snag another closer. I don't know if like Kirby Yates and Tanner Scott's going to be a committee there, but I mean, they gave Scott, what, $72 million? I'd like to think that he's going to get majority of the save opportunities. You just never know with Dave Roberts and what goes on over there. I mean, Jake Berger, I mean, the Rangers clearly saw something. He gives me a little bit of pop. I mean, Spencer Steer, he's already hurt. I actually didn't even realize that Steer was hurt. He could be out for a little bit, but a first baseman that can steal bases, always valuable. Shout out like prime Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, I think I don't mind taking Spencer Steer. He is hurt though, so I would have to probably double up on somebody else if I do like the opportunity of like Jake Berger. I mean, Berger could play first. Never mind. There he goes. So Steer is hurt. A little bit of a risk, but I may. Do I just double up on Steer and Arise? Maybe I do that. All right. All right. Let me take Spencer Steer. Luis Arise, I'm not going to take here. I think I'm going to take, let's just go Tanner Scott. I know there's a chance that he may not get all of the save opportunities, but the Dodgers may win 120 games this year. Just give me 35, 40 saves with a sub 2.5 ERA, and you're going to be worth wherever I just took you in the 15th round. So I'm perfectly, or 14th round. I'm definitely fine with that. I could look to add another starter, another bat. I mean, like, I got some guys like workhorses like Skubal, Webb, Gallen, these guys, Castillo. They rarely get hurt. They're very consistent. Maybe I take somebody with upside. I don't know if that's Grayson Rodriguez. I don't know when he's coming back. Yeah, May 5th or May 1st is their estimate. I hate that already. I mean, Carlos Rodon, I'm not going to take him. Ronaldo Lopez was great last year after being converted. Seth Lugo, another converted guy. Christopher Sanchez, another converted guy. I think there's definitely some options, but I think we are seeing somewhat of a tier drop off. I guess we could also just go best player available. I got my utility slot there if I really want stolen bases. Bryce Terang, Jason Dominguez if he's there. Jackson Holiday just went. Yeah, Pico Armstrong can steal a ton of bags. Volpe. I like Xavier Edwards because he gives you average and he gives you stolen bases. I wish he had a little bit more positional versatility, but he's just shortstop right now. And I took Betts, who I could move around. You got Matt Shaw, who could play multiple positions, but a little bit risk taking a rookie. And I'm up again in 4 picks. Like Jason Dominguez, not bad. Guess I could end up with a Yankee here. Probably has more upside than some of these other guys. I like Zach Neto, but he's starting hurt this year, and I don't want to have too many guys that are injured at the moment. So I will need to take another first baseman, so I am on the clock. I mean, I think Dominguez just gives me more offensive upside and could steal just as many bags. Probably not as many as Pete Armstrong, but I think could get me a decent amount. So I'm going to take Jason Dominguez there. A Yankee, my first Yankee. I am a Mets fan. I do not have a Met on my team, sadly. I don't know if I want to take my first one here in Kodai Senga. I think we could go for a starter. I mean, Jose Barrios is going to be out there. Jared Jones has some upside. Senga, but I don't know with him if he could stay healthy. Kikuchi's reliable. I'm going to go Jose Barrios. I think Blue Jays fans in my first video were not very happy that I predicted them to finish last in the AL East, which I don't really think is that crazy. But either way, I'll make it up for them. And I'll get I'll get Jose Barrios on my fantasy team, so I'll root for him this year. I think outfield we're good. Luis Ariz was off the board, so that's why I probably wasn't going to take a first baseman. I don't mind Nate Lowe, Michael Bush. Like, these guys have 20 homer potential, and probably will have a better average than Tovia. And then Goldschmidt, I don't know if he's going to regress. Just took another Yankee. So I'm probably going to take a first baseman, and then maybe two more bats, with one being a first baseman, and then wrap things out with a pitcher. And I do snag Yandy Diaz here with one of my picks. He's just going to give me average, and I think he would have got, I don't know, like, I feel like people are a little bit down on Yandy Diaz. So let me go starter. I like Pivetta in San Diego. Eflin, Keller, Boz have a little bit more upside, maybe Brandon Pfaadt. I think Gavin Williams, Tanner Bobby, like those guys this year. I'm going to go, I mean, Tanner Houck was an all-star. I'm going to go Mitch Keller. No, I'm going to go Nick Pivetta in San Diego. And then my last pick is definitely going to be a bat. Pretty much just the guy I like the most that's on the board. And I think for my last pick, I like Terry Carpenter. I don't mind Tyler O'Neill. I feel like his projections are down a little bit. Maybe last year just being a walk year was huge for him. Brandon Nimmo, just get a Met. My favorite team, just get a play from that. I like Terry. I know they sometimes, he could be a platoon. I think I'm fine with that. I think I would go Kerry Carpenter here if he's on the board. And that is going to be the case. I'm going to finish things off. Maybe I should get a middle infielder, honestly. Yeah, I should probably do that. Carlos Correa. Why not? Let's take him here. Or Christian Campbell. Let's say Christian Campbell, because I do think he can be up soon and he can play multiple positions. So you could see my team here as we took, Mookie and Skubal to start things off. I like our offense. I like the starts or the starting pitching. I know sometimes the depth's not great for these leagues, and then you'll kind of have to play the waiver wire, but that's how fantasy baseball is. I love fantasy baseball. I love playing Dynasty as well, and I've had a keeper league like / Dynasty for years now with my friends, and that one is fantastic. And I do think, like, if you're into baseball, I'm like equally into baseball and football, and I sometimes like fantasy baseball more than fantasy football. And that is gonna be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and thank you guys for basically hitting 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Make sure you are subscribed for MLB content all year long, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.